the Studio 5 kitchen today, a meal that is easy to prepare and even easier to clean up. That's what I like. It starts with one large sheet pan and ends with endless options for dinner. Mix your favorite proteins, veggies, and starches for a speedy, family-friendly meal. We have Lindsey Hargett here to share her favorite sheet pan recipes. And I love this, Lindsey, because it's obvious to me why these are so popular, but they really are growing in popularity. What are people loving about this?
So honestly, like obviously it's one pan, so it's easy to do, and you can throw it all in. It doesn't take a lot of babysitting, so it's really nice. It's kind of like a one and done sort of thing.
So and it's a meal that you bake. I mean, we're putting on a pan and then throwing it in the oven. And like you said, you don't have to babysit it. So that's a big
it's
part
not like
of
a stovetop one. It just goes away and comes out done. It's magic.
Oh, see, I love that. Anything I don't have to babysit is great. Okay.
Yes.
So is there a standard recipe for success? I mean, you brought a couple examples here.
Yes.
That are fun and look actually pretty different. They're pretty different meals. We've got the steak. Is this steak?
Yes,
Meatloaf?
we've got some steak and some vegetables and potatoes and just, you know, you add different seasonings and stuff and it's super great.
Okay, and then over here you have one with eggs and bacon and a breakfast.
Yes.
So really different. So what's in this one?
So this one is just hash browns. You bake the bacon and then you cook the eggs right on top. And so it all cooks just on there. You don't have to fry things separately. It is amazing.
It is the true one-pan meal.
It really is. It's
great. I love
this.
But one thing that I'm questioning right as we're talking about this is, what about, you know, I think about making a tinfoil dinner. I don't know if anybody has ever done that.
Totally.
But, you know, the meat and veggies kind of cook at a different rate.
Yes.
How do you deal with that?
So you want to make sure that your veggies and your protein, like your meat, are about the same size when you cook them. And obviously for steak, you don't want it cooked as well done. So I cooked the veggies, the broccoli, and the potatoes first, and then I seared the steak because I like that. But then you can just add it on to the pan, you know, until it's the temperature that you want it to be. So, but if you're not working with steak, you want to make sure that you have chicken that's the same size as your potatoes. Everything needs to be the same consistent size.
Okay, so that's the big tip that people need to know. Make it the same size chunks.
Yes.
And then you can throw it in, and it typically cooks equally as quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's build one. I want to see how we do it. Am I spraying my pan?
So I usually will put all of my stuff on there first, drizzle it with olive oil and my spices, and kind of just rumble it all together, and then put it in.
Okay, so you're putting the olive oil. So you actually are doing some mixing, but you're doing it just right in the pan.
Yes, I just do it with my hands, or you can use a spoon so that you don't have to wash another bowl. That's the best part.
Okay.
So you can just kind of add whatever things that you want, and I like this because you can either use it for meal prep, and you can say, okay, we're gonna have some carrots one day, some squash one day, or you can have your kids come in, you can chop a bunch of things and be like, okay, who wants? And it's kind of like a create your own pizza, but it's a create your own sheet pan.
Oh, kind of fun.
Yeah,
it's like a Mongolian barbecue,
yes,
right?
Exactly.
Throw all the veggies on.
Yes, so your kids can kind of choose what veggies they want to eat, and you can choose the ones you want to eat. And so I always like to throw potatoes or sweet potatoes on there because it makes it, you know, more filling instead of just chicken and veggies, and kind of will carry you a little bit longer. But you can do sweet potatoes if you're looking for more healthy. You can do butternut squash.
Oh, good idea. So you could do a squash, sweet potato. You get the hash browns over here. Any of those kinds of things are going to work for this.
And then you can pick any kind of meat. I've got some diced chicken. We've got some fresh salmon, pork tenderloin. You could do steak, obviously, shrimp. You could do tofu. You could do mushrooms or eggplant if you're vegetarian.
So really anything.
And then we just add it with these spice mixes that we've made.
So we cut up the chicken, whatever, put it on the same pan, mix it up.
Drizzle it with olive oil, and then add our spice rubs.
This is where I have a question, because obviously you're going to get your seasoning from these spices. You've got a little olive oil. You need
kind of the flavor.
What spices do you recommend? I mean, obviously it probably depends on fish versus chicken versus red meat.
But you could do, like my husband really loves, you know, Indian food, and so we've got a curry powder. You can do Italian seasoning because that's kind of a basic one. I love steak seasoning. I even put that on chicken because I think it tastes amazing. I've got like a Caribbean jerk seasoning over here, taco seasoning if you want to make it more Tex-Mex and do more peppers and stuff. So really the sky's the limit.
Okay, so what would you do? What would you recommend for kind of what we're building here, which has the zucchini, it's got squash, we've got like
it's got kind
peppers.
of everything.
It does kind of have everything.
The steak seasoning is kind of my go-to just because I've got a really good rub from a place that I love. And
okay,
so
let's grab it.
I'll usually do a lot of that one. So let's see here. So we've got our steak seasoning.
And how much are we putting on? Are we like dousing
I do it liberally, honestly.
Okay.
Because these are gonna cook, they're vegetables. Honestly, it will make your kids eat it more. And you know, you just want to watch like the salt levels in your spices and stuff like that. That's why I like to make mine homemade, so that I know for sure.
Yeah,
and then you'll drizzle them in oil, and then you just kind of toss it all together, and you add the meat, and then just, you know, add it all together and make it all nice and seasoned. And you can add, I do like fresh kosher salt on there, and you can like squeeze some lemon over top after it's done cooking to give it that extra pop. So
Okay, and then how long am I sticking this in the oven for?
So it depends on the size of your veggies. If you've got like these small ones, I would say probably around 30 to 40 minutes. And
that will get the meat.
Yes.
Okay.
And so depending on your meat, like if I did these pork tenderloins, I would probably put them on there first thing so they'd have time to cook through, or the chicken. And you could do whole chicken breast too if you want to. You just want to make sure that you're not overcooking your veggies and things like that. So
okay, so cutting these up into the same size as the veggies,
yes.
throwing them in. And fish typically cooks a little faster than some of the other meats.
So I just do the veggies first,
okay,
and then
give it 10 minutes or something in the oven, and
yes,
then throw
and
in
then
your
the
fish.
last few minutes I add the fish or the shrimp or whatever it is.
And about 30 to 40 minutes, depending on what veggies you're using.
They're usually less than an hour for any kind you could come up with. Even if you do whole fingerling potatoes, it's the best.
Awesome. Okay, Lindsey, you are on Instagram. Where can people find you?
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram at LK Cooking, and I do cooking classes, and we're going to do one of these sheet pan dinners where you can kind of create your own coming up soon. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.